When we're talking about mental health, it actually encompasses our psychological well-being as well as our emotional and our social well-being. So that means it directly relates to how we think, how we feel, and how we act. There are physical symptoms, headaches, changes in appetite, changes in sleep patterns, definitely things that people close to you will notice, irritability,
A
isolation.
lot of us already have coping skills. They just might not be the best or be the healthiest. Breathing exercises, taking ourselves from inside to outside, getting fresh air.
A lot of times we think that therapy is where you sit in front of somebody and you share all your problems and then they tell you what to do. That's actually not. What we sort of give you the power back.
Yeah.
So one of the biggest blessings of our program is that we do not charge our. Hello, my name is Ebony Skillins, and I am the Executive Director of Skillz on Wheels, which is a nonprofit mobile mental health unit. We serve the Tulsa community, and we are in the community on a daily basis. Today, we are partnering with Fresh RX to discuss the importance of mental health. And so I am super excited to have two clinical directors, one, Michael McAllister. He's our clinical director with amazing skills. And then Ikea Young, who is our clinical director for Skillz on Wheels. We'll talk about the importance of mental health. We'll talk about some signs and symptoms to look for. We'll also talk about coping skills, and then we'll discuss some resources to help you on your mental health journey. So, before we get started, I'm going to kick it off to Michael McAllister, who again is our clinical director for Amazing Skills.
Thank you, Ebony. Hello, everyone. Today, we're going to talk a lot about mental health. I'll start off by just talking about the importance of mental health and actually what it really is. It's probably more than what a lot of people actually think it is. It's a lot that goes into it. When we're talking about mental health, it actually encompasses our psychological well-being as well as our emotional and our social well-being. So that means it directly relates to how we think, how we feel, and how we act. So we definitely want to pay attention to how our mental health affects our relationships and how we relate to other people, how we're able to manage our stress, and also how we're able to just manage that daily grind and the things that happen throughout our lives. If we have great mental health and we're managing it in a great capacity, you start to see an improvement or healthier aspects of our life, including our relationships, how we deal with our daily stress.
Yeah.
Um, there are a lot of numbers out there that say that depression, for instance, is very prevalent. 6%, 7% of our population, yet usually half of those people actually get diagnosed. So that's one of the things we want to kind of overcome and make sure people have an overall awareness of their mental health as well as their physical health because it all goes hand in hand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I know you've been in this field for a while. Um, Thinking about some examples that you've seen, what would you say some symptoms or signs to look for people who may not really know how to identify a mental health situation?
That's a good question, Ebony. It's different for different people, but there are a lot of different symptoms and signs out there. I can speak from a man's perspective. A lot of times, escapist behavior, where you may see us work a lot, spend a lot of time at work, where it often looks productive, but we're really kind of overlooking some of the internal battles that we may be having and some of our emotional issues. So we isolate from our families and maybe not get the assistance that we probably really need to get.
Yeah.
A lot of other symptoms are just there are physical symptoms, headaches, changes in appetite, changes in sleep patterns, definitely things that people close to you will notice, irritability, isolation, where you're not hanging out with folks like you normally do, where you're not doing the pleasurable activities and the things that you normally do. You may stay inside, stay in bed. So we definitely want to pay attention to our loved ones. If we see any of these symptoms and irregular type of behavior, we want to kind of encourage them to get some help, to see somebody. Definitely talk about it.
Yeah. Definitely. Thank you for that, Michael. Good insight. And you're right, everybody is different, you know. So depending on your makeup, one of the things that I see a lot of is just lack of motivation. So yeah, that goes hand in hand. Yeah.
And there are a lot of different coping skills that'll help with that. And Kia is very good in that area. She may be able to enlighten us on some of those coping skills.
Thank you very much, Michael. My name is Ikea Young, licensed professional counselor here with Skills on Wheels, clinical director. And I am honored to share with you guys some coping skills or just some things to be aware of when it comes to your overall mental health. Um, a lot of us already have coping skills. They just might not be the best or be the healthiest coping skill. For instance, someone who may engage in unhealthy eating, we're coping, right? We eat to cope with maybe something that doesn't necessarily feel good, but that's not a good coping skill or a healthy coping skill. And so, what we want to highlight for you all today is some things that may be better for you or less harmful. In a way. So we've already heard things like doing our breathing exercises, taking ourselves from inside to outside, getting fresh air, allowing your feet to literally touch the ground. That's called grounding. Um, just taking a moment to step outside of the space, perhaps where you're feeling those uncomfortable feelings. If it's a decision that needs to be made, healthy coping skills might not necessarily be getting your nails done or your toes done, but it could absolutely be making a decision that's healthy for you, saying no, right? If we are overcommitted, we are headed into the fall season and or the holiday season after that, and so just a lot of change in the air. So it's a good time to make some changes, right? You can blame it on the weather. You can blame it on me if you want to, but it's healthy coping skills are doing the things that we need to do that are good for us, that are better for us than perhaps what we are doing. Another way to kind of identify if some coping skills are needed, maybe our environment, perhaps our cars, our rooms, our living rooms. We've got things all over the floor, right? So a healthy coping skill might be just picking up around us in our area. So doing a little cleaning, doing a little, opening the windows. The weather is cooler now, so we may not be reliant upon the air condition. We can open the windows and just let some of that dust and things get out. But all of those, letting that fresh air in can be a coping skill, something that just helps to renew your mind, give you a fresh perspective, see things from a different perspective, and just come to the realization that I'm not the healthiest version of myself mentally. And maybe I can do these things to support myself mentally. But then also, if you need to, you can come and see someone or talk to someone about enhancing that mental health overall as well. Coming to see a therapist does not mean you're mentally ill, right? So we don't want to put that message out there, but it does mean I care about my mental health. So if you go to the eye doctor for your eyes and your eye health, or you go to the podiatrist for your foot health, or you go to just your dentist for your teeth health, coming to talk to one of us, it's just a good foundation and a good skill to see about your mental health. Right, Emily?
Yeah, thank you for that, Ikea. As you were talking, I was thinking about, there's something that pulls us to go to the doctor or to the dentist. There's either pain or something's not right.
Yeah.
As it relates to mental health, we want to think about our behaviors. Like, have they shifted? And how do you know it's the right time to go to therapy, right? So I think having that conversation, there could be a loss of a job or a loved one. There could be just, I'm not feeling like I used to feel.
Yeah.
And so I need to talk through that. A lot of times we think that therapy is where you sit in front of somebody and you share all your problems and then they tell you what to do. That's actually not what therapy looks like. Therapy is a space where you come and you share and you talk and we listen. We probe, we ask questions, we do reflective listening, and we sort of give you the power back to choose different coping skills, to choose different decision-making skills, or just life skills in general. And so as you think about, like, do I qualify for mental health services? We believe that everybody deserves a therapist. So, like Ikea was saying, if you have a doctor, a dentist, a podiatrist, or even a beautician, add to that a therapist.
Yeah.
And so I think that's really important. And as we partner with Fresh RX, we know the food health is important, but just as equally as important, that our mental health really dictates everything that we as humans do.
And Ebony, can you provide folks with some information on how to get a hold of Skills on Wheels and, get in touch with some of those resources that allow them to have that great balance of mental and physical health?
Yeah, for sure. So, Skills on Wheels, you can access us on the web at skillsonwheels.com. On that website, you can book your appointment. You can also see all of our clinicians that work on Skills on Wheels. And so you'll be able to meet the team, you'll be able to book an appointment. And the beauty of Skills on Wheels is that you can get on the RV in that same week, usually. And so, right now, in our climate of people needing mental health care, what we're finding is that it takes 3, sometimes 6 months to find a therapist. And what Skills on Wheels provides is access to a licensed, fully licensed clinician who can help you right then and there. In our community, what we've also found with Skills on Wheels is that people need the attention immediately. It's not like, oh, I can wait 2 or 3 months. By that time, we've pretty much solved or suppressed that particular issue. And so we want to be able to offer quickly and effectively our services. And so you can follow us on Facebook. That's another way to get in touch with us, where we do our posts. So go on Facebook at Skills on Wheels and like us, because you'll also see where we have e-blast where we post out and say, hey, we have these openings. And so we let the community know you can even be seen in some circumstances the same day. On Skills on Wheels, we also have a care manager who helps to make sure those basic needs are met. So that's a plus. And then you can reach us by phone. That number is 918-764-8067. So there's 3 ways: through our website, which is skillsonwheels.com, through Facebook, Counseling Skills on Wheels, and then our number. Again, it's 918-764-8067.
And I'll add to that, Skills on Wheels is spelled with a Z. So it's Skillz, Skillzon, Wheels, and the Z at the end of Wheels as well. So we didn't highlight that. And did you say no charge?
Oh, I
Did
didn't.
you tell them that?
Thank you.
Amen.
That's one of the biggest blessings of our program is that we do not charge our consumers. And so you can come on the RV. Really, what we need is your zip code and your heart. Like, what's stopping you from being the best you can be? What are some of those signs and symptoms that you've identified? Another thing that I love about Skills on Wheels is that we don't necessarily diagnose. So we talk about symptoms, we talk about signs, and we talk about duration of these symptoms, but we don't necessarily label it. We allow and we're biblically based, and I forgot to mention that as well, but we allow the foundation of God's word to sort of share what you may have. So if you come in with what we would say is depression, right, we could look at it from scriptural basis, and it would be more sadness, grief, lamenting. And so that's how we would tackle our therapy session. So yeah, that's another unique part. So we don't charge. We don't share, give information out. That's another thing. Everything is confidential. And that's with any therapeutic setting. We have laws and ethical obligations to keep things just between us. There are certain circumstances where we do have to disclose, but we go over that during our first session. For the most part, everything you share with us, it's safe. We provide that safe space. So. Yeah.
Another thing to point out with Skills on Wheels is because we don't charge, we are able to meet a lot of people where they are. There's nothing in between you and you seeing a therapist. There's nothing in between us. But a lot of times we find people know someone who wants to go to therapy, but they won't necessarily think or say that they need to go to therapy. And I just want to encourage our potential clients and our clients out there that you can come and we can discuss what may be going on with someone else. Sometimes someone may not be ready to go to therapy or talk about things, but if you were to come and just discuss some things around perhaps your interactions or your coping skills around perhaps an individual who may or may not be very healthy at the moment, we can definitely be of support for you there as well. So there's just lots of things that we can accomplish in the therapeutic process that if you just give us a chance, and we're hoping that the model Skills on Wheels offers by not having any cost eliminates all of those barriers, and you can come and give us a chance and just kind of hear what we are able to do, whether it be a decision, some grief from 20 years ago, seasonal, sadness that comes about every year around Christmas time, whatever it is. We have heard it probably before, unfortunately, but we are here. We are able to help.